From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
7 months into the COVID-19 pandemic, and Indiana has hit a record, the highest number of positive cases added to the state's total in a single day. You're watching the news at 11. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. Today, the State Department of Health reported more than 1,800 new COVID-19 cases. That is the highest single-day number since the pandemic began in March. And you can see in this chart the numbers trending upwards throughout the year. 4 of the highest single-day increases have all taken place in the last month.
Tonight, the Regent Street Institute, which analyzes health department data, says positive tests, emergency room visits, COVID deaths, and hospital admissions are all increasing in Indiana. IU Health Ball Hospital is one facility seeing an increase in COVID-19 patients. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker is in Muncie tonight to show you what's behind that increase, and he's checking in with a shop that's struggling as the pandemic continues.
It's been a long 8 months for Morgan Roddy, owner of the Queer Chocolatier in Muncie.
My decision was to be as consistent and to listen to as many doctors and to the scientific reports as possible.
Closed since the start of the pandemic, she feels like it would be irresponsible to reopen because her chocolate shop is more than a sweet spot to hang out. It's a place where folks come for community.
Knowing that my space is primarily about caring for vulnerable populations, all of that led to me being more cautious about opening versus rushing to bring people back into the shop.
But Morgan tells me it's been hard. All the businesses around her are open.
I am isolated in this decision. It leads to me constantly questioning myself.
However, news of an all-time high of COVID-19 patients at IU Health Ball Hospital lets Morgan know she's doing the right thing for her business, and her community.
I don't think it's fair to just pursue being open without being a caring member of the community.
I would suspect it's people getting together with friends and groups and not wearing masking and not practicing good social distancing.
Dr. Michelle Cesana with IU Health believes that's what's leading to the increase of COVID-19 patients. And even though this is a college town, Dr. Cesana says this increase in cases is not linked to Ball State.
We're not seeing an increase in the college students, but more in the community members. Wear your mask, practice good social distancing, at least 6 feet apart.
Back at Queer Chocolatier, Morgan says they're going to stay closed for the foreseeable future. The business is staying open off of deliveries, and it'll be that way until the COVID-19 situation improves dramatically.
Would I have business if I opened that door? Yes. Would I be able to sleep at night? Not necessarily, because I think that there's still this risk.
Working for you in Muncie, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
IU Health says the age range of COVID-19 patients at Ball Memorial Hospital is between 55 and 70. And while they have enough resources right now, they want everyone in the community to do their part to turn this positive case trend around.
Governor Holcomb again today said it's up to Hoosiers to do their part, wearing masks and social distancing to slow down the increasing spread of COVID-19. In South Bend today, he addressed the decision made 2 weeks ago to move the state into stage 5 of the Back on Track plan.
When we say stage 5, that doesn't mean it's over. It just means this is a scenario we're operating in right now. This is reality. And so you can call it new normal or new reality. We do take it obviously day by day and week by week, and kind of Wednesday to Wednesday is when we typically make any changes. But there's a lot of factors that go into what we do.
The Democrat challenging Holcomb in the race for governor, Dr. Woody Myers, says the governor's move to stage 5 was reckless. In a statement, he's calling on Holcomb to, quote, take action to save Hoosier lives. That includes reversing to an earlier stage of the reopening plan, advising schools doing in-person learning to switch to remote learning, and issuing a mask mandate that's enforceable by state law. In a statement, Holcomb's campaign says in part, quote, Woody Myers is trying to scare Hoosiers. We've made so much progress compared to other states. Together, we've made it to stage 5 because of Hoosiers' actions. And it's those same actions that will keep Hoosiers safe and our economy open, end quote.
That back and forth between candidates is expected during both an election year and a pandemic. So I checked in with an epidemiologist to learn more about Indiana's spike in COVID cases and what we can all do to slow it down.
We know that there's a few different hot spots, some of the college campuses, restaurants and bars, anywhere that people are indoors, close quarters for extended periods of time are eligible to become super spreader events. So this is where COVID likes to spread. Close contact, unmasked. COVID can linger in the air for even a few hours after someone with COVID has come through the room. So the more people that you are around, unmasked, the more likely that we could see these spreading events.
Health officials continue to encourage people to get tested for COVID, and anyone who lives or works in Indiana can get tested for free. Register by going to lhi.care/COVID testing or by calling this number 888-634-1116.
New at 11, scary moments in Pendleton caught on video. Fire crews were called when a train slammed into a semi-truck. And keep in mind when you watch this, no one was hurt.
I can't explain to you.
Oh my God!
Unbelievable. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the Pendleton Fire Department says the driver of that semi got out of his cab before that impact. This happened at East Madison Avenue and State Road 67. The truck was pushed hundreds of feet. After the impact, both the semi and the train caught fire. The train conductor was evaluated by emergency crews. The Department of Environmental Management was called to clean up the scene. Also new at 11, IMPD is investigating two shootings that happened just minutes apart. One person is dead after they were shot on the north side near Park Avenue and East 30th Street. The victim was also hit by a vehicle that may have been driven by a possible suspect. Another person is seriously hurt after a shooting on North King Avenue, just west of the White River. Investigators are looking for witnesses to learn more. We will keep you updated with the latest at WRTV.com.
On Monday, the Indianapolis City County Council will take a final vote on the city's 2021 budget that includes an additional $7.7 million for the Metropolitan Police Department. The department says the money will be used to hire more officers, add body cameras and other equipment, and for legal settlements. Over the last several weeks, the council has heard from members of the public who would rather see the money go towards social programs, mental health services, and residents struggling during the pandemic. The debate over police funding comes as Indianapolis reaches its previous yearly record for intentional homicides, 153, with 2.5 months left in the year. One of the most recent homicides happened at 30th and Keystone around 6:30 Thursday evening. That neighborhood has seen several murders this year. Many people who lived there were too fearful to speak with us, but one mother agreed as long as we hid her identity. She thinks a big part of the problem is that people don't speak up.
Everybody has a "it's not my problem" mentality or some type of code for the streets, and there is no code for the streets. If that's your baby or your mom or your family member, you're going to want somebody that's seen something to say something.
Police say that is a problem they often run into in investigating homicides. They do want to remind you, you can stay anonymous by reporting information through Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
And we are just minutes away from midnight, which means we put another dry day in the books. If you're counting 52 days in a row without a 1/10 of an inch or more of rain. So our last big rain goes back to August 18th. How about that? Okay, temperatures warmer than they have been and will be for the overnight lows the next couple of nights. We're still around 70 in many locations. The rain chances are low for the entire weekend. We'll get into more about Sunday in just a little bit. Temperatures are warm, as you can see, 80 during the day Saturday. Lots of clouds. We could have a shower. Columbus, Seymour, Bedford, southeast portions of the state. And then as we go through the day, lots of clouds. The wind won't be as strong. Temperature will be around 80 for the afternoon high. Left to talk about will be the potential impact from Hurricane Delta and what happens on Monday, which hasn't been in the forecast for quite a while.
Thanks, Kevin. The latest ruling on absentee ballots is leading to some confusion for voters. We told you last night on the news at 11, the deadline for ballots is tied up in a court appeal. Now, absentee ballots are now due at noon on November 3rd. A previous court ruling required voters to have their ballot postmarked by Election Day. Gregory Pettigrew waited in line today after requesting an absentee ballot, but never receiving it. He says the deadlines seem to keep changing and he just did not want to take his chances, so he decided to vote in person instead.
Just go in and early vote and get it over with. That way my vote's already in, it's counted, and I know that I did it, so it's all good.
The Marion County Election Board says the deadline will not have a big impact on them. They start counting ballots on Election Day, no matter what. The U.S. Postal Service says you should give your ballot a week to make it back to your county's election office, so make sure it's in the mail before October 27th. You can also drop your ballot off in person, and early voting is underway now until Election Day. You can find everything you need to know about casting your ballot and the candidates running for office at WRTV.com/election2020. And the second presidential debate has officially been canceled as the White House refuses to answer questions about President Trump's last COVID test. Despite ongoing questions about his health, Karen Travers explains the campaign rally plans the president has for this weekend.
If he can't get out on the campaign trail, President Trump will try to bring the campaign trail to the White House. The president holding what his team billed as the largest virtual rally in radio history, but was really just a 2-hour interview on Rush Limbaugh's radio show. The president and the host, no other guests.
I mean, I feel better now than I did 2 weeks ago. It's crazy. And I recovered immediately, almost immediately.
Itching to get out of the White House, the president's doing a media blitz with friendly interviewers. Yesterday, it was Fox Business Network and Fox News. Tonight, Fox News again. The president's doctor Thursday giving him the tentative go-ahead to resume public engagements, just a little over a week after his diagnosis. Dr. Sean Conley declaring that the president is devoid of any indications to suggest progression of illness. ABC News has learned the president on Saturday will hold his first in-person event since his diagnosis. Remarks from the balcony of the White House to a crowd on the South Lawn. Attendees are described as peaceful protesters for law and order, according to an invitation obtained by ABC News and confirmed by the White House. Joe Biden on the campaign trail in the Sun Belt Friday, waking up in Arizona and stumping for votes in Nevada.
We can't just win, we have to win overwhelmingly. So you can't be in a position where you can put the phony challenges that he's talking about.
His campaign today releasing 5 new ads, including one spot that features a veteran slamming President Trump over alleged comments he made about fallen U.S. soldiers.
To think that somebody would call them suckers and losers is incredibly disrespectful to every person who's ever worn that uniform.
Mr. Trump has forcefully denied making comments attributed to him in the Atlantic magazine by unnamed sources. And the Biden campaign, flush with cash, continues its push in traditionally red states, announcing Jill Biden will travel to Texas next Tuesday, the first day of early voting there. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
A skills gap is looming over an industry that dominates the state. Coming up, how an Indianapolis company is getting creative to inspire high school students to explore careers in manufacturing.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers is our effort to keep you and your family connected to career opportunities, and it's never too early to start. Manufacturing Day is a national effort to inspire the next generation of manufacturers throughout the month of October. Advanced manufacturing is a huge part of Indiana's economy. That's why Allegiant, a door hardware manufacturer, has hosted students for Manufacturing Day field trips for the last 6 years. Today, the event was held virtually. Industry leaders say it is imperative to reach a younger generation because of a growing skills gap. It's predicted that nationally, 4.6 million manufacturing jobs will be available in the next decade, but more than half of those jobs could go unfilled.
If you like working with your hands, if you like technology, if you want to be a part of change, be a part of the future, come to manufacturing, just because it's so many things change. We work with robots. I've seen so many things. This is just an amazing opportunity.
To learn more, students can go to creatorswanted.org, which is a website by the National Association of Manufacturing. Allegiant is making a recording of today's virtual field trip to share with schools. To learn more about Manufacturing Day, job opportunities with Allegiant, and other Central Indiana companies that are hiring right now, check out hiringhoosiers.com.
A program aimed at empowering African American youth in our community is adjusting how they're serving families during the pandemic. For the first time in the Center for Leadership Development's history, programming is now available for students virtually. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares how this program has transformed the lives of tens of thousands of young black children in Central Indiana.
I think it's like her fourth program under CLD, but the one she's in right now, she's actually repeating because she loved it so much the first time.
There's no denying Charlotte Conyers loves the Center for Leadership Development, having spent now 4 years in the program.
It does give you a lot of different options of different things you could be, different things you can do. Like there's no limit to anything we can do.
Founded in 1977, CLD is in the business of transforming young African American lives to become future leaders in the community. They do this by teaching them character development, educational excellence, community service, and career achievement, serving about 4,000 kids a year.
And we believe in you, but you're 17 years of age, and in 17 years of living, has anyone ever spent 30 minutes with you actually teaching you a process and a system for how to do hard work?
The president, Dennis Bland, says education is currency, and some kids haven't even been taught how to properly study or take notes, therefore take an interest in schooling. So they offer tutoring and counseling to fill this gap. Now, all of this offered online because of COVID-19, saying young people still need to be reached, especially now.
The need for support, the need for encouragement, the need for affirmation, the need for validation.
And they're also working to create satellite locations in some of their highest crime residential areas to meet kids where they are and make sure no one is left behind.
They will accept any kid.
Their goal, to empower kids to believe they can be successful, inspire them to do so, then give them the tools to show them how.
It is so profound in the breadth and the scope of the impact of the program. It is just thousands of lives impacted in a positive way. And so that is undeniable and unmistakable.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
The CLD wants more families to get involved. Their goal is to serve 6,500 students this year. You can find out more information about this on our website at WRTV.com. Well, right now we are officially into the weekend, and Kevin's here with a look at your forecast for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's after midnight already, isn't it? Well, Delta is still a hurricane. The wind speeds reached about 96 miles per hour as the storm reached the coastline about 6 hours ago. What's happening and moving fairly quickly, northeast at about 15 miles per hour, and will continue to weaken, but still has hurricane force gusts at 75 miles per hour. Our big hope was to get some rain from this system. All indications are we're going to be disappointed. The best chance of rain remains Kentucky, Tennessee, and then areas off to the east. That's not to say we won't see some showers, especially in the southern portion of the state, but there is your very modest chance of rain on Sunday across central Indiana, just 20%. Saturday, definitely influenced by the hurricane in the sense that we'll have lots of clouds. May have some showers early in the day, in the morning hours in southeast Indiana, but those would be very light. The wind will decrease during the day, generally out of the southwest, though, keeping temperatures propped up. Where you have more cloud cover, I think it'll be cooler. So temperatures, Lafayette, Terre Haute, about 83, while southeastern Indiana, upper 70s for the high. On Sunday, that chance for showers, but notice the overnight lows coming back into the 60s. 77 the afternoon high. Again, southeast along Interstate 74, Greensburg towards Cincinnati, I-65 from Seymour south, the better chance for some rain. What hasn't been in the forecast for a while, a chance for thunderstorms. There'll be a cold front Monday. That will bring with it a chance for thunderstorms and temperature of about 78 degrees. Monday's temperature and the cold front the warmest of the work week next week. You can see lows will be back in the 40s and afternoon highs in the 70s until the end of next week, and then quite cool, 61-degree high by the time we get to the end of next week. Mark?
Kevin, thank you. The sun is setting on the high school football regular season. Just one more Friday before the state tourney begins. We'll have a look at a trio of undefeated teams in action when the News at 11 continues.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
It felt a lot like summer out there tonight, but the high school football season is already in the home stretch. The state tournament starts 2 weeks from tonight. Our Brad Brown has a look at one of the teams hoping to make a deep run.
We started our night in Zionsville at Covenant Christian's home field. The Warriors off to a 7-0 start for the third time in the last 5 seasons. They came back from the locker room with a 20-point lead, getting the second half kickoff, and that lead's getting bigger in a hurry. BJ Lomax missed the last game with an injury, came back in a big way. A school record 93-yard return for the score. That was BJ's 4th touchdown of the game. Covenant was not done. Quarterback Austin Frazier threw 6 touchdown passes tonight. The last of those going to senior classmate Adrian Terry. The Warriors rolled 8-0 with a big win.
I think these guys have the character, they have the attitude, they have the work ethic. I'm excited to see how the season finishes. I'm excited to go through every single bit of it with them. I just love being with these guys and these coaches. They're fantastic.
Covenant closes the regular season next week against Oldenburg Academy. Dave Merritt has a look at the top-ranked team in 6A with a conference title on the line.
This contest definitely a battle of 2 halves. The first starred the Lawrence North Wildcats, who went to work before most fans could even find their seats. An 8-play opening drive that ended with an Ali Richardson touchdown. The Wildcats then would continue their first half stomp as Donovan McCauley would find David Beatty across the 20-yard line for the big game. A few plays later, McCauley to Beatty again, this time for the touchdown, and a 13-0 Wildcats lead at the half. But as I said, this was a tale of 2 halves, and the second half starred the Center Grove Trojans and their running back Carson Steele. Here he finds the end zone from 1 yard out to get Center Grove on the board as they'd still trail 13-6. Later in the third, another Center Grove drive. This time 4th and 8 when Tavon Jackson finds Gage Reese for the 8 yards and more as he'd collect 6 points as he crossed the goal line. And after an offsides penalty on the point after, Center Grove would go for 2, and Carson Steele would be there to take it in. And Center Grove would have the 14-13 lead. But Lawrence North right back knocking on the door, about to grab the lead back when McCauley's pass was intercepted by Dane Young to end that threat. Then the Carson Steele show would continue. Here he punches it in from a few yards out. He'd add another one for the TD trifecta tonight, and Center Grove would hold on to win 28-13. Dave Marin, WRTV Sports.
Another unbeaten in action, Danville making the trip to Western Boone. The team's grinding out a defensive battle for most of the first half. After an early 7-7 tie, neither was able to make much progress. Then in the final minute of the second quarter, Danville's Cale Payne gets the pass to Luke Wooten, who scoops it up before it hits the turf. That would get the Warriors going. Danville comes away with a 28-14 win as they improve to 6-0. And the Colts will head to Sunday's game at Cleveland short-handed on both sides of the ball. Darius Leonard is out for the defense. A groin injury sidelined him all week. Anthony Costanzo out for the offensive line. He'll be replaced up front by LaRaven Clark. Sunday's game is a late kick starting at 4:25. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Loss to the Indianapolis defense.
This weekend, you can visit a local car dealer and drive home with a new family member. Indiana Humane Services will host an outdoor adoption event tomorrow at Tom Wood Subaru. Animals from 10 area rescues will be there to help you find your perfect pet.
We're going to have this socially distanced, so please wear a mask. There'll be lots of hand sanitizer available, and the rescue groups will be spaced out pretty far. It's an all-outdoor event, and we hope to see people come out.
Dogs, cats, and even rabbits will be available. It runs from 11 to 2 at the Tom Wood Subaru on East 96th Street. Kevin.
Amanda, I was thinking about that. We should be able to load up the dog and take the dog on a test ride as well, right? They got to have their head out the window.
It's a great day for it.
Air, get those ears back. It'll be perfect. So, all right, it will be a little cloudy compared to what we're used to, but dry. Temperature hits 80 in Indy. The chance for showers a little bit greater in the southeast portion of the state. Amanda.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this late edition of the News at 11. Have a great weekend.